I have gotten to a point in my life where I feel like it's do or die. Like it's now or never.
Hello, you are listening to the Late Bloomer Living podcast, where we are reimagining and redefining what it means to be in midlife, where we are gathering energy, momentum, and excitement for our next chapter via candid conversations with other midlifers about their own pivots, pitfalls, and triumphs. I'm Yvonne Marchese, your host, and I'm so happy you're here. Hello, my friend. I'm so excited for you to meet my guest today. Her name is Natascha Hardee, and she is a Spitfire. She likes to say that just because you are a woman over 40, it doesn't mean it's time for you to pick out a casket and quit life. She's here to be your cheerleader and champion. She has over 50 years of experience as a fitness trainer and in occupational therapy. She's a dancer, a certified life coach, a speaker, and has recently become the Clubhouse Moderator Mentor for Midlifers, and has no plans on slowing down anytime soon. Natascha specializes in guiding women 50 and over on how to transition to the next phase of their lives without guilt, shame, or fear. She's committed to being a resource for seasoned women who desire to live a sexy, healthy, and vibrant life holistically. I can't wait for you to meet her. But I also want to say, stick around to the end when we really get fired up. There will be singing, my friend. Okie dokie. Without further ado, here's Miss Natascha Hardee. Let's go. Hey, Natascha. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited, and I can't wait for us to dig in to the conversation you have, the questions you have for me, because it's always so interesting to hear what people like to know about me.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I remember hearing you for the first time in Clubhouse, and your energy and just, I mean, man, when you hit a room in Clubhouse, every time I've been in a room and you've been in a room at the same time, when you get up and speak, it's like, Natascha's in the house. And I love it. I love it. You always bring up the energy wherever you go. And so I'm just super excited to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. And you know that's purposeful, that when I go into a room, I bring up the energy. And when you're ready to ask me about that, I'll tell you how I got started with that and why I started doing that.
All right. All right. I can't wait. I do want to back up before we talk about that, because we were in a room and whew, I mean, you started to tell your story. I can't remember what room it was. It was a long time ago, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And you told your story about how you ended up taking care of your granddaughter,
Mm-hmm.
and how that all kind of came together.
Mm-hmm.
And it got me.
Yeah.
And the contrast of your story with the energy that you always bring, it was even more touching to me.
Well, it's been a journey, as you do know. I just finished my cycle of 59 years last Wednesday on the 22nd, and I consider myself 7 days into being 60, right?
Happy belated birthday.
Thank
Amazing.
you.
Yeah.
And what my big story that I tell, because I think I'm not the only one out here that experienced this. I feel like once you hit 50, there's a lot of things that becomes, the towers start coming down around you, and like you get to rebuild your life. And so in 2015, I would say it marked a huge shift for me. In November, my dad died from cancer, and 2 weeks later, my oldest brother died from cancer. And those were two major pillars in my life that were gone. And my mom, of course, had transitioned years before in like 2007. So unbeknownst to me, I was in a depression. I wasn't aware of this because I was getting up training my clients every day. And I also, a week after my dad transitioned, my apartment complex gave me a 2-bedroom that I had been on a waiting list for about 30 years. So then I moved from my apartment of 30 years. And so that was like 3 major losses, right? And people kept saying, oh, when you move, it's a big deal. And I thought, oh, it can't be a big deal. I really want to move. Well, I moved and it was so heavy for me. And I couldn't figure out why I could not get myself up on my feet. I was frightened in the world because no longer having people who knew me from birth, I felt like I was alone in the world. I didn't have my father or my brother to call on the phone when tough times came up. And so as I went through that time, I just mulled through it until, like, I believe I said to myself, let me invite my granddaughter here. And some kind of way I managed to get her plane ticket here in 2016 for the summer of 2016. And I thought, oh, this is going to give me some energy and uplift me. And we're going to have fun. I get to be a grandma, right? So 3 days after my granddaughter is here, we get a call on the phone. My son had been shot. It was very traumatic. And my son did live. He was shot in his forearm, and we believe it was gang initiation time. So it was gang related. They just randomly picked the person to shoot. And there was someone else shot that same day randomly in a car. Wow. So he lost the whole, what they call the extensors, which opens your hands, right? He lost all of that, was blown out of his arm. He had to have 8 surgeries. He was in the hospital. He was on pain meds. He was like, there was all of this stuff he was going through at the time. And in January of that following year, we had a call, and he said, I would like to get some support for Dana. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll help you out. And he said, it'll be for a year. And I was like, okay. And I figured I can do it for a year. And at that time, because I was in such a funk, I was like, okay, girl, this is time to kick in your own superpowers of wellness, health and wellness. That's been my thing. A personal trainer.
Right. You mentioned being a trainer. So you're training. So that was personal training, right? You were doing physical personal training. Yeah.
Yes. Physical personal training, getting myself together. And I had just finished this transformational work where I was, working through uplifting myself and all that. And it was still a challenge, right? In this process, when I was getting it, because I said, this little girl's going to need me to be here for her. She can't have no depressed grandma. I was like, let me get this together. And so I did. I started training with a trainer and working on myself and all that stuff. And so my granddaughter came, and it was a major challenge because my granddaughter was dyslexic and she hadn't gotten any services, and no one knew how to help her. My son didn't have access. He lives in California. All of us, his family, is over here. And it became very arduous. And I was in postmenopause. My body was still adjusting to finishing menopause, the hormones and all that stuff, mood swings, and feeling like I was failing her and failing my son and failing myself and all of that stuff. And I got to tell you, I signed up to become a life coach at that time. So I did a 9-month life coaching program, which is the best thing I could have done because I was surrounded by coaches and was being coached like maybe twice a week, every week for
That's fabulous.
months.
There's definitely, wow, right? Right when you needed it. So, okay. Wow. So you signed up to become a life coach, to go through the training. And did you know you needed it? No, you're shaking your head.
I had no idea.
You didn't know that was going to be your saving grace.
I did not know that was going to be my saving grace. Not only that, but my network. my buddies that I had in the process. We formulated a study group. We were a support group twice a week. It was all the support I could get. It was what I needed because I couldn't find a support group for grandmas or parents. It became so difficult to access a support group because here I am now from a single life to parenting to now trying to get support for this child, getting her assessed, getting her tested, and I'm single. And I'm a single parent now and not a real huge community or family to step forward to pitch in. So it was very overwhelming. So exactly what you said, that was a major support group for me, and my transformational community where I did this personal development work. They were pitching in with after one of the participants there. She's a philanthropist and she has an after school program. So I was getting tutoring for her from this. And that's what I say, these networks of people contributed to me. And that was amazing. And and after that, I did a speaking program. I was just in it. And then I said, I'm a 50-year-old woman. I was over 50. I'm 55 at this time, 55. And I said, there's a lot of women like me. I kept seeing women who were struggling, finding their voices, to be seen, to be heard. Women struggling with menopause and not really knowing what's going on with their bodies, with their minds, with their life, and also having a level of fed upness. You know what I mean? Like, I'm tired of trying to fit in this mold. People telling me what to do. I've eaten.
Well, there's a whole lot of fed upness at this point in there.
Yes, and I drank enough of the Kool-Aid. I've had enough. It's not working for me no more. I'm no longer addicted to the mold that they have me in. And so I was like, no. And so my goal was to support women over 50 in their transitions and breaking through these barriers that are here for us, and who desire more and know there's more to life, right? We're not committed to being old and washed up. We're like, we want to live life. How do I make that happen? And I need people to support me in making that happen. So that was my initial journey, right? That's where I was. And getting there has been me being in a space of being youthful, energetic, dancing, having fun, being with my granddaughter, running all over the place and saying, girl, you got a grandchild, you running to catch the bus, you running to get the train, y'all are all over the place, all of it, you making it happen. You are not old. So yeah,
Right on. Oh my gosh, I love it. So, and you said you got into a speaking program. So was that, I know that like when I go to your Facebook page, it says you're a motivational speaker. So was that the speaking program? Like you got into a program to learn how and to start writing talks and different things like that?
Absolutely, yes, because I've always wanted to speak. Man,
you're just like the Energizer Bunny.
No
Dang.
limits. Listen, after 50, at this point, right? You've lived if I've lived my life, and let me focus on me. I've lived my life, and I know I'm not the only one who've been people pleasing, falling on the sword, the Rock of Gibraltar, the ride or die for everybody else. I said, 2 years after my granddaughter was here, she went from what they call a 1-2 student, which we know as a DF student, to an honor roll student. I said, if I can do that, turn this child around in 2 years, I can do this for myself, for my business. Let me focus on me. And that's where I began to galvanize this energy of working for women. And I initially had a program called Sexability for women.
Sexability. All right. I like it. So tell me more about that.
That was a program where that was catering to women over 50 to focus on their physical attributes about their body and being sexual, and the things that we could do to take care of our bodies to have a vibrant, voracious sex life, as well as be fit, be youthful, know that you're not old, go after your dreams and your desires. So it was really about sex and also about you evolving into your best self at this stage of your life.
Yeah, because the world tells us you're over 50, that's it. You're not effable anymore, right?
Right.
And well, yeah, and then we buy it. We buy into that. Oh yeah, I'm done. I got nothing more here.
For a minute, we buy into it for a minute.
For a minute. And then Natasha says, no. It doesn't have to be that way.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, especially if you have some young whippersnapper pushing up on you, 40 years old, saying, you sexy. And I'm like, okay. So, I had all of that too. I had a little
all right.
But it was cute. It's about 15 years older than. It was okay. It was good while it lasted. So those kinds of things let us know, right? I am beautiful. I am sexy. I am desirable. And we get to step into that level of confidence. So as I was working with a young person last year, right? She was a social media person I was working with. And she was like, you have to get on Clubhouse. And I'm like, I'm not trying to learn nothing else. I barely know how to work the Instagram, LinkedIn, the Instagram, the LinkedIn,
the Google.
I barely know how to work that. I ain't trying to learn nothing else. She said, Miss Natasha, you got to try it out. You got to try it out. I was like, I don't know. So I got on Clubhouse. It was January 2nd of this year. Of 2021, and I was listening, and it was all these people, and I was really petrified. And then I heard people say, "Well, if you're on here for 2 weeks, you need to start hosting your own rooms." And I'm thinking, and somebody supported me in hosting my own room a couple of times.
Nice. Yeah. Somebody kind of held your hand and took you with them. That's awesome.
Held my hand, took me with them. And the one thing I can really say that stood out for me was, hey, if you're on here, there's 100 people in these rooms. Now, I didn't know any better. I thought this was how Clubhouse was. There was always 100 people in these rooms. I didn't know about that was just an anomaly for 1 or 2 rooms. Anywho, I said, you have to stand out. So I started trying to figure out, how was I going to stand out amongst all these people? And I said, okay, well, let's work on your profile picture. And then, and I had something like really pink that said Hardy Life. But let me back up to 2019, the summer. I was in a mastermind, and I was in a business mastermind. And I was like, there's 100 people in this mastermind. How am I going to stand out? This is
wow. It's a lot of people in a mastermind.
I want to stand out, right? How am I going to stand out?
Yeah.
So guess what I did?
What'd you do?
I always sent the Paul Carrick Brunson, him and or his wife, an email via video. I sent them a video email, and I would always have music on, and I'd be dancing. How y'all doing today? And then when I would go on a WhatsApp group, it would be like, hi y'all. So I do the same thing, and everybody was responding. We love your energy. We love your energy. That whole thing. So I said, rinse and repeat on Clubhouse. When I got on Clubhouse, I had a clapper. And I said, I would get on Clubhouse, and I would say, okay, now how am I gonna be seen? How am I gonna be seen? And I would get on with my clapper. Hello, everybody. Hello, this is Natasha Hardy from Hardy Life, because you deserve a Hardy life. I celebrate all you women here on this platform. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. My question is, and that's how I started. And people like, oh my goodness, I love your energy. I love your energy. I love your energy. And every time I go on, I would do the clapper. And then I got my whole spiel together of what I was doing. And eventually, and then I got my designer to create the yellow background, because he said your background should be one of your brand colors. And we got a picture and we put it on there. So I didn't want a regular picture that was like, so I got the picture that was like,
yeah.
and so,
I
you
wish
know,
people can see you.
it represents me, my energy, you know?
Yeah. So I'm going to describe it. What I want to give people is the image of Natasha. She's kind of giving you this little kissy face, like pose. And I will tell you, just go to Instagram, check out her profile picture, because it's the same profile picture on Clubhouse and Instagram,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
So if you're not on Clubhouse, go there to Hardy Life and check it out. Natasha, oh my gosh, you do enter a room like that. I mean, and that's authentic to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's your energy, which is awesome. I mean, it's you taking up that, that 100 decibels, but it's still you. Not everybody's going to carry that off,
No.
So you got into Clubhouse and you were there for business then. That was your idea, right? Your social media person was telling you, you need to get in here to connect with people.
First of all, she was young, much younger than I am. So I don't think she knew how to direct me, but she was so interested in Clubhouse. And she was like, there's so many people talking about so many things. She couldn't really direct me.
It's really hard to describe Clubhouse to people, isn't it? I mean, I can't tell you how I talk about Clubhouse all the time. I'm sure people are sick to death of it. I have friends who are like, oh, I don't have time for one more platform. Blah. Oh, it's a time suck. It's this, it's that. Well, yeah, in the beginning it is, right?
Yes, it is. It definitely is, because you don't know. And it's interesting. It's like a new toy. And then after a while, you're like, hey, I'm going to just not be on here for 10 hours.
It is a warning. That's real.
You can manage it though, but it's like I tell people it's like a talk radio. And it's like you go from the different rooms are like stations. You go from one station to the next, or you can see the various radio stations and you go in and listen. The difference is you're able to speak with people. There are a lot of people who don't know much about Clubhouse and they think it's like another Facebook or Instagram, but it's not, or LinkedIn. It's its own entity, and it's nothing like those apps, and it is like it at the same time.
What I love about it, I mean, like you said, it's nothing like Facebook or Instagram, in the sense that when I see somebody else's Instagram feed or their Facebook page or anything like that, I'm seeing exactly what they want me to see, what they thought about, what they ended up posting, because they want whoever sees that to get a certain impression. But when you go into Clubhouse and you're in real conversation with people, you're getting them in real time with real reactions and their thoughts on the matter. And yeah, some people are more practiced than others and they have, an agenda or whatever, but more often than not, you get in and you can actually have just real nice conversations with people. It's amazing. Okay. So before we go on with this, hang on, I'm going to back up. So your journey, once you started through Clubhouse, you kind of shifted your coaching, right? Like you've gone into a whole, like you're teaching people how to do Clubhouse now. That's your thing, right?
Yes.
What was transformational for you about the experience in Clubhouse that made you decide to shift what you're doing to go all in with teaching people how to moderate rooms in Clubhouse and do what you're doing now?
Well, what occurred is so many people started asking me to moderate rooms with them. And in the beginning, I was moderating rooms in the Midlife Network Club. And I also was moderating rooms in the Bodacious Black Woman Club over 50. And I was getting guests in doing the podcast thing, not knowing I was doing it. We'd get a guest and have them commit to at least 4 weeks. And I would get 4 weeks worth of content. We would host a room every week on their content. I'd have them write the content. I'd coach them how to moderate the room and how we were going to So I give them a framework, of how to build out their content, right?
Wow.
Then I would give them afterwards would debrief how we can improve the room or what they needed to improve on the room, right? So I was doing that with guests in the Midlife Network Club and in the Bodacious Black Woman Club over 50. Meanwhile, I had my own club and I was a chicken too afraid to host rooms in my own club. I wasn't hosting any rooms in my club. And I mean, I was hosting up to 12 rooms a week. And I thought, this is something I can make money off of. There's a lot of people, they don't really know what to do. I was like, you know what to do. You know how to set this up. You've been to speaking school. You know this stuff. You've hosted workshops, webinars, whatever with other people. And we did debriefs. So we do the debriefs. And then I created a profile template, which no one has that. People have different things on Clubhouse, but no one has a profile template. And the profile is your professional and personal calling card. That's where people get to know you, because you don't have a whole lot of, like we do on social media. You just have your picture and your profile. And so the turning point for me, which I was really resistant to it, I knew in July I should do this. I kind of dragged my feet on it for a couple of more months. And then it was like, this is it, Natasha, you get to do this, because I had was charging people early on very little to do this. And then I was like, you can do this and earn money with it. So I started getting clients around September. And then I was like, it's a lot of work for one person. Let's do a group. So I did my first group December. So I called it a boot camp, a 4-week boot camp.
All right.
And initially it was supposed to be a 12-week program. I decided to do a 4-week program to see what would happen and how it might, that was my inaugural program, my beta, I would say.
Like your beta. Yeah.
My beta. And so now I feel like I want to do the 4-week program consistently and then move them into a membership where I'm doing trainings in the membership and putting up information. But that's where I am. So my transformation came, excuse me, knowing that this was something I was good at. And it not only good at teaching them how to moderate, there are all these isms that come up, right? For the midlifers. They have all their stuff they're bumping up against. And I have the coaching skills as being a coach to coach them through their fear, their lack of confidence, their doubts, their skepticisms. I have the tool belt for that. So I also get to be a coach in this process with supporting them in overcoming their barriers. And it allows them to be seen and heard and speak into what they're passionate about. And I love that. I love it.
Yeah. I love it, because you can spend your whole life without using your voice, and then, by God, we've lived a life at this point. We have something to say. There's something to share.
We have a lot
Everybody.
to say.
Everybody.
And wisdom. We have wisdom, we have knowledge, and we have expertise. We have all of that. And we get to give it to the world. And why is it so important to do it now? Because we get to give voice to women and men over the age of 50, because I have male clients too. Definitely women though. Women get to be out here and be seen, and be heard. And so many women are building platforms on Clubhouse, whether it's they start on Clubhouse, they build their community, they build a summit, they take these programs off Clubhouse and put them on Zoom, and they do webinars, and it helps to they start building a whole society. And I think that's magnificent.
It's amazing.
I love it.
Yeah, it sure is. I love how passionate you are about it. And I can totally see that, totally feel it, and it is, you've taken everything that, you were a physical trainer for so many years, right? You have training like that you know how to do that, right? Then you take in your coaching, and then you take in your speaking, and then and you've taken it all, and here you are, you're 60, and you're starting something brand spanking new. And I'm just sending you a high five through the Zoom camera here, boom, because that's that's the kind of thing, like, if we can all just find, we all have a mix of talents, experience, and passion that we can bring together that are unique to us, that we can then take and turn it into something new for ourselves and for other people. And it doesn't have to be wah wah wah, I'm getting old. It can be a rebirth.
Absolutely. It can be, I get a chance to step into my brilliance. I get a chance to step into my passion. I get a chance to be the voice of the women who want to do this. I get to be the bridge, the gateway. I get to lead, be in leadership. What I really love is that I'm a health and wellness. I'd say I've been in health and wellness for over 50 years. I grew up in health and wellness. My mom was into yoga and all of this stuff when I was a kid. And so I've been in health and wellness all my life. I used to do yoga with my mom in the studio called our living room floor. So I was her yoga partner. And fun fact about me, I'm a graduate from the Fame, I'm gonna live forever. I'm a graduate of that
God,
school.
I had dreams of being at the Fame High School. Oh my gosh, that's awesome that you went there. What I love about you is that you just dive into things. You follow your curiosity. You just go. You're just unstoppable.
I'm going to receive that, because some days I feel very debilitated.
Well, it's good to hear, because I'm telling you, I think other people see people like you and think, oh my gosh, they're, indestructible, energizer, but like, where do they get it? They're amazing. And to know that you don't feel that way all the time, I think really says something, because nobody feels like that all the time, right?
No, I have insecurities like everyone else. There are some days, I was just telling my client today how yesterday I was just so wiped out, and I just felt like I don't have my goals together for 2022. It's already the 29th of these. Normally I have, and I was getting on myself so bad. My granddaughter must have saw it, because she said, "Grandma, how's your day going?" I said, "Not good." She said, "Why don't you take a rest?"
Oh,
she just turned 14. So
smart girl, smart girl.
She said, "Why don't you?" And I did. I laid down, and it's just been a really busy month, and with the boot camp and everything, and I just wasn't focused on it. And it's okay.
Yeah, it is.
I could give myself to the end of January to get my goals together. I don't have to have it
anytime
all
you want
together.
to, Natasha. It doesn't have to be. I mean, New Year's, frankly, it's all made up. It's all made up. It's just fake. It's like Valentine's Day. It's fake. We just have this calendar. Somebody somewhere along the line made up this calendar thing, and we go by it. You do your thing anytime you want to. I'm giving you permission.
And thank you. I received that. And to your point about everybody doesn't feel that way, I'm going to tell you, I was so scared on Clubhouse. I tell you, when I first got started, like you said, scared to raise your hand, scared to go up. I am too. Most people don't believe this, but I'm an introvert extrovert, meaning that, I spent preferred time to myself, even though you see me very energetic and all that stuff, but I do not like be around crowds of people. I don't, all of that stuff doesn't work for me. I get my energy from being powered down. And then when I power up, I'm up and ready to go. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I totally
so you get it.
that.
Yes. Yes. And I want everyone to know that I do it scared. And I mean, I do it. I mean, really scared. There are times I'm petrified that I do it really scared anyway. I'm tenacious. And for me, I have gotten to a point in my life where I feel like it's do or die. Like it's now or never. Like we're going to make this happen. I'm committed to getting to the next level up, like scaling up my business, getting to the next level. My desire is to speak globally and to be traveling around the world speaking about women, all of what they can do, and breaking down dismantling this myth about women are old at a certain age. And
Let's
one
go
of my
do that
students
together,
recently
Natasha.
said,
What do you say? What do you
yeah,
say?
listen, there's a whole gang
Right
of us
on.
doing this.
Isn't
Let me
that
tell you, there's a
exciting?
lot of us.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I mean, some days, you know, my paranoia sets in. I have to be honest. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just one more voice just making noise about this. But in reality, I'm so excited that there are so many of us all of a sudden right now. There's a thing happening. There is a thing happening. I'm going to say it. And it's women of an age are starting to realize that we're not done yet, that we still have something to offer, and that we might be at this point at the beginning of our best era. I'm declaring it.
Absolutely. Well, how I became so clear about our women in numbers that really want to dismantle this is from being on Clubhouse. I had no idea until I went into the Midlife Network Club.
Neither.
Until I went into these, I did not know that there was so many women doing this. And I couldn't find these women before I got on Clubhouse. I was like, where are the 50 plus women? And they're progressive. They're not these women that are cowering back and like, no, I don't want to. No, these women are like, they're on fire. They're like you, they're firecrackers. They have something they're bringing to the table and they're like, yes, yes, yes. And today I was in a room with Dr. Donna and Marianne, who is 73 years old. I say she's the poster child of being energetic and youthful. She's an actress. I can't remember Marianne's last name, but Marianne is amazing. She is amazing. She's 73. She's an actress. She has a lot of energy. She's very vibrant. She's a firecracker. And she's like the poster child of like, this is where I want to be when I get 73. And one of my clients is 87. She's 87. She's on her second career. She's a master storyteller. She still has gigs. Her son is under weather. She goes and sees her son in the hospital. She has both knee replaced. She has a plate in her ankle, a plate in the left ankle, plate in her left shoulder. She has a left hip replacement. She walks with a cane. She gets around and I train her twice a week. So I am saying to you, and she just I've learned from her. She's like, either it's going to work out or it's not. She said, I just laugh at myself when things are just going crazy. I just laugh at myself. And it really is a listening for learning for me, a listening to learn for me when I speak to people who are older than I am. And because they're teaching me, I don't have all the answers. And they are paving the way for me to live this magnanimous life as a woman who is getting older, but not getting old.
Right. Exactly.
Absolutely. And I was listening to, I don't remember where I was where I heard this, but someone said years ago, I think it was Gary Vee. He said years ago, people were dying at 47 and 50 years old. He said, and people are living to their 90s now. He's like, so 50, he said, when you're 26 years old and think you're going to need to have it all worked out, you shouldn't. He was like, people are starting to work it all out at 50. They're just starting to get their lives in 50s, in their late 40s, into their 50s. And honestly, when you look at it, the last time I checked, it said the average age of a woman is 81 years old in the US. But if you look at 50 and you look at 81. You have 31 more years to live your life. That's a lot
That
of time.
realization, Natasha, is exactly why I started my podcast, because I was 40. When I was 48, I had a come to Jesus moment or whatever, where I was like, all through my 40s, I had been telling myself that I was old, that I was tired, and my body, I mean, I had, migraines and back problems and melanoma and bursitis and just like little piddly, nothing big, but just constant physical ailment. And I was always telling myself, I'm tired, I'm getting old, and blah, blah. And there was this endless chatter in the back of my head about getting old. Right. And when I finally stopped and I knew I needed to change that, and I changed everything up, I started getting up in the mornings and doing exercise every day and meditating, and kind of just, really took charge of it and started doing some work to change my thinking. After some time, I had this epiphany. I was like, oh my gosh, so I'm going to be 50 soon. If the average age is 80 something, I got 30 years ahead of me. What am I going to do with that 30 years? What do I want those 30 years to look like? What's possible in 30 years? 30 years is a long time. Am I just going to go want downhill the whole time? I don't want that. So I want, what can I do to shift that?
And so many women are in the same headspace you are in, right? So many women are in this, like, I feel great. I'm 50. I feel amazing. What can I do? And if you take your 50 years of experience and compress it into the next 10 years, what can you accomplish? Like major things. And let me say, when I say this, because I tell you, I was the ride or die, Rock of Gibraltar, be there for everybody, fall on the sword for this one, yes, assist that one. I had a friend stay here for a year because they were sick in my house, assisting them. I've done this in the last 10 years. And I want to tell ladies, I want women to know that it is not easy to turn that boat around and focus that energy on yourself. You have to trim the fat. It requires emotional intelligence, and it is being able to say no. Say no. And I'm telling you, it is a muscle you have to exercise. I'm not saying any of this stuff is easy. It is not easy. My granddaughter was the catalyst for me to be able to say, no, I can't participate in this. No, I can't do that. You have to learn how to say no and focus your energy solely on you. And that's where, when you're going to see the focus, be like, I'm focusing in on me and what I have to do. And there's so many women who have said to me, who have come to me and said, I had to start saying no to my children. I had to start putting my self first. I had to start saying no to my family, to my job, to my church, whatever it is, they've had to do it. And I say to them, I honor you because I know it wasn't easy. I've walked that road. So when people say to me, how do you know this? Even my students in the boot camp, how do you know how to deal with fear? How do you know how can you articulate, this is what I'm going through? I said, because I went through it. I lived what you're living. I lived the fear of getting on the mic. I lived the fear of saying no. I lived the experience of not having boundaries. I lived not having the emotional intelligence to navigate relationships. I lived putting up with people's crap. I lived through that. And so I'm telling you, you don't have to.
And I just want to say too, I'm sitting here thinking, wow, the minute you tell somebody, oh, you need to stop, people pleasing, saying no, you need to do this, and people go, oh, but people will think I'm selfish, or isn't that selfish? But I just want to point out, okay, first of all, I think selfish gets a bad rap. I think selfish is it all has to come. Where do you get your energy from? If you're not filling your well with what you need, then you got nothing to give anyway. And look at you. You've learned how to set these boundaries and still look at what you're doing out in the world for other people. So is that selfish?
You know, one of the things that Iyanla Vanzant says, she says, your cup should always be filled and never give from your cup, always give from the overflow. That means you must keep your cup full in order to have it overflowing, right? And that when you keep that in mind, it supports you. And let me tell you, by the end of 2 years of my granddaughter being here, I felt empty. And I said, no, there has to be a way for me to do this where I'm not depleting myself. And it's been a challenge. And I have to tell my granddaughter, look, you need to go to bed by a certain time because that was my real, how many times I got to tell her to go to bed? 525,600. Yes. So like I
Yes.
need time for myself at night. At night, I need the time to wind down. So the later she goes to bed, the longer I'm up because I need that quiet time to myself. And know what you need. Know what you need to fill your cup up. And that's what you all who are listening get to understand about this kind of people-pleasing, self-sacrificing, Rock of Gibraltar, being the on-call person for everyone else and never for yourself. You have to spend time with you. Do you, and you will begin to flourish. There's something that happens when you pour that energy back into you, and then you begin to flourish in a way that will give to other people, right? It's reciprocal.
Oh my goodness. I'm just soaking that in. Yeah. I'm just soaking that in because I do tend to, I can talk the talk all the time, but when it comes down to it, I still fall into people pleasing ways. And, it's something that, like you said, it's hard. It's not easy. Yeah, I love it. Give from the overflow. Give from the overflow.
Think of it like a fountain, right? You have a fountain. The fountain is full, and then it has the fountain that goes up in the middle, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the ones on the side where the fountain is spilling out into the next pool around it. So you just giving from the overflow, but that large fountain in the middle is always replenishing the main fountain.
Yeah.
And you deserve it. And let me say this to you, Yvonne, it's okay because everybody, we're all learning. We're all learning how to not do this. We're all learning how to undo the things we learned for the first 40, 50 years of our lives, the first 4 or 5 decades. And we're learning to undo it. And I don't have it mastered. I'm going to be the first one to tell you, I don't have it mastered.
They say you teach what you need to learn, right? We're just all trying to
fellowshipping, though. It's fellowshipping. This is fellowshipping.
I love that term, fellowshipping.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, we're fellowshipping with each other. I'm learning from you. You're learning from me. We learn from each other. It's reciprocal. You teach me something, I teach you something, and then you have something extra in your bag, and I have something extra in my bag. And if you could just open up your eyes, I tell the audience, I'm sharing this with the audience, just open up your eyes and see how much you have accomplished in your life from the time you were born, not being able to speak or move or walk or talk, what you have accomplished from learning how to read and write and, just getting through life and managing and navigating. Some of us have had trauma, lived through divorced parents, all kinds of other, ups and downs and whatever it is, working and learning skills and trades. We've done that for the last 4 or 5 decades. You are brilliant. You're brilliant. Everybody can't do that. There are not a lot of people who are making it on this side,
Right. And and you're not done yet.
No.
I talk about, the whole purpose of my podcast is to talk about midlife reinvention, and some people are like, I don't want to reinvent myself. I've worked hard to get where I am, right? I'm just getting more and more and more clear on this, that it's not about changing yourself. It's about changing how you think about yourself. It's about letting what's already in there out. Because if you feel like, oh, I just want to rest now, I just want to, well, okay, you might fool yourself into thinking you're resting, but all you're doing is holding yourself down and back, I think.
And take a break. It's okay to take a break for 3 months or 6 months or 1 month. Take a break.
Yes. I always say, that the growth comes from the being out of your comfort zone. And somebody else made an argument recently for how necessary the comfort zone is. Yes. Rest, stop and rest if you need to. Yes. But you're not done yet.
No. And I think I want to lean into the comment you said about it's in us. And when you think about, I am becoming, right? I am becoming, it makes me think of the slab of marble, and then the sculpture comes and chisel the form into the marble.
Reveals
yes, becoming into that. So that's what we're this slab of marble, and life is just chiseling our legs and our fingers and our face, and we are becoming. And that's what it is. And like you said, we're not done yet. By the time we leave up out of here, we're a full statue.
Right. And sometimes that chisel hurts. Damn it.
Damn it. Yes, honey. It gives us the blues, and it's okay. It's okay. We're bruised. We're not broken. We're bruised. We're not broken. We're whole, perfect, and complete as we are each and every day. And we get to receive that.
Thank you. How can people find you? Where?
People should find me on Instagram at Hardee Life. My last name is spelled Hardee Life, right? HARD as in delightful, 2 E's as in exciting. So, and you can find me on Clubhouse under Natasha Hardy. So that's how you can find me on LinkedIn. They can find me there on Clubhouse under Natasha Hardy.
I will have it in the show notes. So I'll have all people go check out Clubhouse. And if you think you feel called to moderate a room, you definitely need to go find Miss Natasha Hardee, and she can teach you all the ins and outs and how to be prepared to run a Clubhouse room. But get in there and play and find people that you connect with.
And I want to let you know, I host a moderating room every Sunday at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. So they can come to me, come see my room on Sundays at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, where we moderate. We teach midlifers to moderate with confidence like a pro.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. I got to get in there and check that out with you. That'll be fun. Oh, you are too much fun. I knew I was going to love talking to you and having this conversation. And seriously, my energy is through the roof right now.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I enjoyed being here. And your listeners are fortunate to have someone as loving and compassionate and caring about them getting the information that you want them to have, disseminating the truth to them about how brilliant that they are.
I'm going to say, Natasha, I'm receiving that.
Yes.
Thank you.
And we want to tell your audience, happy Wednesday to you. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy Wednesday.
I love it. Thanks, Natasha. Well, there you have it. Seriously, every time I hear Natasha speak, I get a supercharge of energy, right? Okay, so some things I took from my conversation with her. Number 1, don't be stopped by your fear. do those things you want to do and do it even when you're scared. And very important, be sure to fill your cup and give from the overflow. Hey, if you want to know more about Clubhouse, because we did talk an awful lot about it, feel free to send me an email at latebloomerliving@gmail.com. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have and would love to have you join me along with my buddies in the rooms that we host every Wednesday at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. If you're looking for us in Clubhouse, the room is called Dance Like Nobody's Watching, celebrating our midlife moves. And what we're doing is we're talking and brainstorming about what it means to dance our way into aging, moving our focus from self-improvement to self-acceptance and a celebration of our beautiful mess. And of course, Natasha Hardy is available to give you the pro tips if you think you might want to host rooms of your own. If you want to get in touch with Natasha, I'll have that information for you in the show notes. You can just go to latebloomerliving.com/podcast and click on the show notes for episode 84. All right, I'm going to take you out singing the Natasha song. Are you ready for this? Happy Wednesday to you. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy Wednesday. Oh boy, not so good. Not as good as her. But anyway, there you go. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you have a fantastic week. Stay safe and well. Talk soon.